A loss is a lesson, and there's not one single piece of knowledge that isn't power. Let me cook. Back-to-back losses for Barcelona, but a lot to learn from them to be back to the best team in the world, which I'm sure everyone is wanting as a Barcelona fan. I have four things written down here, and it was just a quick brainstorm because I'm not going to come with a list of eight things that we need to change. 'Cause then every team can just write that list and be the best team in the world. Excuse me. Two of them are like big needs. One of them is a need, but not like the biggest need. And the fourth one is like a luxurious need, I would say. So I'm going to start with the hole that Inigo Martinez left is it's unbelievable, and I didn't expect it. A lot of people were saying he was our best center back. He was this, he was that. I agreed. He was very good. He was left-footed. He was a great ball player. He had a great mentality. He worked like a dog. Everybody looked up for him. He was a great leader amongst the team. I agreed with all that, but I didn't think this was gonna happen. And if you really think about it, okay, as center back, Kubarsi is so mature for his age, but the greatest center backs are always a little bit older and more mature. You don't really see too many youngster CBs like Kubarsi, like Houston now. We don't see that too often, especially Kubarsi can be a great player still, but he's not going to be a mentor and a leader of the team because of his age. You know what I mean? And like, wow, we really are in need of someone telling everybody to smarten the hell up. I mean, they were saying Joan Garcia was kind of like that from the goal, which I agree. He was a very commanding, big presence when he did play. He's going to be back in 2 weeks, of course. But I think Barcelona does need a new center back, preferably a little bit older, like 25 plus minimum, I would say. Preferably left-footed, which would help, the passing angles and such. Obviously, Barcelona quality, not just a random, like you don't just go sign a random 34-year-old. Barcelona quality center back, preferably left-footed, but like right-footed is still fine. Like we've seen Mark Gay from Crystal Palace. He's right-footed, dominant, but his left foot is still fine. He's a great ball player. I think he'd be a good option. I've seen that they're talking about him. I think Schlotterbeck would be a great option. I think Bastoni would be a great option. I'm not a scout for Barcelona. I'm not a scout at all in terms of football, but those are just some players that I think would be great to look at. I understand our financial situation, however. But one thing I do know for sure, even though I'm not an expert, is that we do need to bring in a center half, someone that will be a new leader amongst the team. It doesn't have to be necessarily captain, Araujo or Frankie, whatever, can still hold that captain band. Because everybody knows that really the band doesn't really mean too much at the end of the day. Next, another need is a top striker. Lewandowski can score in the box and this and that, I understand. But when he's on the field, we cannot press. He does not have the legs, like Leo Messi does not have the legs to maintain a press. And if he's not going to press, if someone has to go press for him, there's already an opening there. You're already putting yourself at a disadvantage. When he's on the field, we are at a disadvantage out of possession. Sevilla just dismantled us. Oh my God. And Ferran Torres is not a quality number nine. He cannot start as the striker for a club like Barcelona. If he was playing for Valencia, he could start. If he was playing for, I was gonna say Bilbao, but they're a Champions League level team. And if they want to get out of the group stage, Ferran Torres cannot be their starter striker. I like Ferran. I like him coming off the bench. He brings great press, some link-up play here and there. He is not a starter for FC Barcelona. So, in the summer window, a mandatory is replacing Lewandowski. Harry Kane is a name a lot of people are saying. Julian Alvarez is a name a lot of people are saying, but I don't think that's financially possible. Guirassy from Dortmund is a great option, depending on how much if he's 50, 60, that's a very big look. And I think he's only 28, 29. I'm saying only, like, that's not the youngest, but you have to think about your financial situation. Isak already left for Liverpool. Holland is a big financial burden. Alvarez is a big financial burden. Harry Kane's already 33, so you have to be smart. Lautaro Martinez is going to be over 100 million probably. So Guirassy, I think, is a great option, and I'm sure, like I said, the scouts and the directors within the board will know a lot better than me what can be bringing in. Next, what I think is like not as mandatory, but I think it's important is another 1v1 threat on the squad. Lamine Yamal is the biggest 1v1 threat in the squad, one of the biggest 1v1 threats in the world, undoubtedly. But when he doesn't play, or if he's having an off day, or if he's injured, or this or that, we don't have another 1v1 threat. Rashford has been that this season. Obviously, it's a loan, but it's still not to the direct level because I don't think Rashford has that softness in his technicality. His touches are a little big. When he has to go at a 2v1, which happens as Jared Martin doesn't overlap. So when Rashford has to take things into his own hand and run at a 2-on-1, he makes it very, very difficult for himself because his game is all about pace and power. And if he has to cut through the little narrow gaps, he finds himself tripping over his own feet, running into the guy. You know, it's not as clean and it's not as effective as Lamine Yamal. And I'm not saying we need another Lamine Yamal. I just think we would need another 1v1 threat in the squad. And it doesn't have to be someone necessarily too expensive. It could just be someone that comes off the bench, you know? I'm not saying go out there and buy Rafael Leao, which obviously, you know, if we went out there and bought Rafael Leao or Nico Williams or Anton Semenyo, something like that would be huge because we've been screaming for a left winger over the past few years, and I've still been happy with Rashford. And like my last video, I said when Balde and Rashford start clicking together, I think it's going to be a big problem for the rest of Europe. Um, but for the time being, I think the fact that our second best dribbler slash 1v1 threat is Alejandro Balde and he's playing left fullback, it's disgusting. It's that's not Barcelona quality, right? We have wingers on our squad like Rafinha, like Ferran Torres that are not good at 1v1s, and it's like, what club is this? What club is this? Southampton? No, this is not Southampton. This is not Leeds. You know, it's not Montpellier. We're playing for FC Barcelona. We need the highest of quality players in our positions. And the fourth thing I wrote down is proper fullback sub. Koundé, who is Koundé sub? Another center back? So Koundé is the center back that's playing right back. And his backup is what? Another center back in Eric Garcia? They put the work in, they do the job, but then when we lose, people want to come to Twitter like, oh, Koundé's offensive game is this, Koundé's passing is this, his dribbling is this, his crossing is this, he doesn't overlap enough. He's a center back. He's doing his best, right? It's not Koundé's fault. It's that's our financial situation, but we need to start looking into this. Bring someone from the youth team, you know? If Hector Fort, if he's not cutting it for Flick, bring somebody else. Try something else. And then when you look at the left side, Jared Martin, he's been working like a dog. I know he has, but the thing is that he is not FC Barcelona quality at the end of the day. Every game that he starts, we are at an automatic disadvantage. The other team favors that side so heavy, creating chance after chance. And if there is a YouTube video, just search it up, I'm not sure. Every single goal Barcelona has conceded since Hansi Flick became the manager, like 95% of them are coming from the wings, and it's a low cross, like from from the wing, a low cross, driven, with a little bit of whip on it. And I'm not saying, Koundé sucks, Jared Martin sucks. What I'm saying is the system that we are playing heavily, we need top fullbacks for this. And Jared Martin is not a top fullback. And Barcelona is a top football club. So those are four things I think that's, you know, we want to be back at the top. These four things definitely need to be handled. Those back-to-back losses was, something we didn't really expect. The PSG one, I understand they just won the treble. I don't care. We were balling against them early, and whatever Enrique said at halftime, even though the change started a bit before half, whatever that change was, we need to figure that the hell out. And losing 4-1 to Sevilla because we couldn't press them, and Sevilla manager said he knew if he sat back and said we need to defend or we this whatever, Barcelona will kill us. We need to go at them. He knew he could go at us. He knew how to go at us. Something we need to work on. Flick has some thinking to do over this international break.